The problem with this radio, and I don't know why, but the SWR doesn't read right. So we're on that antenna right there, and we're on AM, so we can put a carrier out. We'd keep the radio. Let's see, it's like 1.5, a little bit above. This tuner will automatically start tuning no matter what I do, but it's in bypass, so for a split second we'll see where it's at. It's like 8 to 1. That's 8.7 to 1 right there. And so it's matched it to 1.7. The radio now thinks it's got a flat match, but prior to that it also thought that it had a 1.5, 1.6 SWR without a tuner. But we know that it's 8 to 1. So this thing doesn't read right. So when you're operating portable, if you don't have a tuner that indicates what you're tuning and you just want to tune like a manual tunable antenna, you'll have absolutely no idea what you're doing with this radio because it's going to read wrong. And I don't know how to fix this problem. This radio came from a guy that was very abusive to it. He used the amp keying cable on the back directly to a FT891, and of course those have 120 volts on the keying circuit. So he cooked the radio and burned up one of the traces on the back that goes to the keying circuit, and then there's a little protection inductor on there, and I was able to fix it. And then also he blew out the attenuator resistor, which is pretty easy to do on these and the 991As. But so I don't know what all has been done to it, but the SWR meter just definitely doesn't work right, and I don't think that it should be a problem, no matter whether or not the match is capacitive or reactive or whatever the hell they, there's a bunch of excuses people have of why it might read good when it's really bad, but it shouldn't do that. No matter what, it should read accurately. If you're going to design a radio to sell to people, for $600-700 or whatever this thing is, the SWR meter should be functional. I mean, like, I figured it out on a lot of other radios, so I don't see how this is anything different. But I think it's probably damaged, but it might not be, or maybe the guy did something stupid and went in the service menu. Maybe there's an updated firmware for the radio, I don't know. I've had this radio for a couple years and I've never updated it. I don't know if there's an update. There's a lot of things they could update on here that firmware would fix, like the SSB. They should. Why doesn't it have upper and lower? I mean, it's stupid. You got to dive into the function menu. Not that one, but and then it is this menu. So they could have redid a lot of stuff on this radio to make it a little bit more usable, but it is the smallest radio you're going to get that does 100 watts. But I don't use it portable anymore because it's too much of a pain in the butt. I can use a 20 watt Zygu G90. I get more information on the display. I have less hassles with the menu, and I have an accurate SWR, and I have also an SWR plotting graph, so which is really good for portable. This thing here just disappoints me otherwise. Like, it's a house radio. Well, why? It's too small. It should be portable or mobile. And it would be great if it was in a fixed mobile and you didn't have to worry about, you were just on one band. But thing is, it's a HF radio. You should be able to jump around on the bands. And by doing that, you're going to need to check your SWR. And I'm not putting an external meter in between this thing. The only reason that it's somewhat usable is because this radio doesn't have a tuner in it. And I can use this tuner, which is actually really big, and then I can find out what my match is. But other than that, like, it's really a hassle. And then they don't really make a cable that works well with LDG tuners either. So the MFJ is actually a better tuner than the LDGs, no matter what people think. The LDGs don't have nearly the amount of memories, and they don't really necessarily track with the radio like these ones do, if you have it set up properly. More of an ICOM thing though. But anyway, yeah, so this radio here has got something wrong with it, or it's just how they are, I don't know. I've had 3 of them, and this is the first used one I've had. The first one I bought, I had it for about 3 days, and I bought an 857D off of Craigslist, so I took the brand new one back to HRO. And then during the beginning of the pandemic, I guess, I bought a 818 QRP radio and one of these, and I was trying them both out, and I decided that I was going to go with the QRP radio, so I took this and I returned it. Well, then I ended up with this one later on in a trade. I traded an original 706 for this radio, and so I figured I had 2 706s at the time. One was a Mark IIG and one was an original, so I traded the original for this. And I think this is a better radio than the original 706, but not by a lot. So, and with the SWR part, it's, you know, a terrible radio. So I don't know if it's fixable or not.